The dust settled around his boots as Jack dismounted, his horse wheezing from exhaustion. 3 days he'd been riding through territory he had no business crossing, chasing cattle that had scattered during the storm. Now, with darkness falling and his supplies gone, he found himself at the edge of a Lakota village, knowing full well he might not leave it alive. She appeared like a shadow-given form, stepping from between two lodges with a rifle cradled in her arms. Her dark eyes assessed him with the practiced wariness of someone who, seeing too many broken promises carried on pale faces. Jack raised his hands slowly, his own rifle still holstered, and waited. "You're lost," she said in perfect English, her voice neither welcoming nor hostile. "Yes, ma'am. And hungry, and my horse is about done. I don't mean any trouble." She studied him for a long moment, taking in his worn clothes, the gentle way he stroked his horse's neck, the absence of a gang or weapons drawn. Something in his exhausted honesty made her lower the rifle slightly. "I'm Ayanna. Follow me, but if you reach for your gun, you won't finish the motion." Over the next 3 days, as his horse recovered and a late spring blizzard trapped them all in the valley, Jack learned that Ayanna was not a princess in any formal sense, but she carried herself with a dignity that made the title seem small anyway. She was the daughter of a chief who'd been killed defending their land, the sister of warriors who'd vanished into conflicts that never made the history books. She translated for the elders, tended the sick, and carried the weight of her people's survival on shoulders that seemed too young for such burdens. Jack made himself useful, chopping wood, repairing a wagon wheel, playing with the children who eventually overcame their shyness. He noticed how Ayanna watched him. When she thought he wasn't looking, how her expression softened when he helped an elderly woman carry water, how she smiled when he made the children laugh with his clumsy attempts at their language. On the fourth evening, as the blizzard finally cleared, they sat together outside her lodge, wrapped in blankets against the cold. The stars above them seemed close enough to touch. "You should leave tomorrow," she said quietly. "Your world and mine, they don't mix well. History has proven that." Jack was silent for a long time. "What if I don't want to leave?" "Don't be foolish. I've seen men like you before, thinking they can save us or that we're some romantic dream. Then reality hits and they remember they have a whole world that will accept them, while I have a people who are disappearing day by day." Her voice cracked slightly. "I'm not some noble savage from a story. I'm angry most days. I'm tired. I carry the ghosts of everyone I've lost. I'm broken in ways you can't see." Jack turned to face her fully. "I never asked you to be perfect. I'm not perfect either. I've made mistakes that keep me awake at night. I've failed people. I'm just a cowboy who's better with horses than words." He paused, choosing his next words carefully. "But I recognize something in you, something I've felt in myself. We're both trying to protect something while the world changes around us. Maybe that's enough to start with." Ayanna's eyes glistened in the starlight. "They'll call you a traitor. They'll call me worse. Let them talk. I'm tired of living for what other people think." He reached out hesitantly, and when she didn't pull away, he took her hand. "You told me once that your name means eternal blossom. Maybe that's what this could be. Something that grows even when everything else is dying around it." "You're a fool," she whispered, but she was smiling through tears. "Probably, but I'm a fool who's found something worth being foolish for." The years that followed were not easy. Jack faced ridicule from his former friends, lost contracts, endured threats. Ayanna navigated the delicate balance of honoring her heritage while building a life that straddled two worlds. They built a small ranch on the border of the reservation, a place that became a refuge for both native children who needed schooling and cowboys who needed honest work. Their home became a bridge where two cultures met, not in conflict but in quiet, daily acts of understanding. When their daughter was born, they named her Hope, because that's what she represented. Hope that love could transcend boundaries drawn by fearful men. Hope that kindness could outlast hatred. Hope that two imperfect people could create something beautiful, precisely because they never pretended to be anything other than flawed. Years later, when Jack's hair had gone gray and Ayanna's hands bore the marks of a lifetime of work, they sat on their porch watching the sunset paint the mountains gold. Their daughter was inside, teaching her own children the stories of both their heritages, weaving them together into something new and precious. I told you I wasn't perfect, Ayana said softly, her head resting on Jack's shoulder. Jack kissed her forehead, his voice thick with emotion. No, you gave me something better. You gave me a love I never expected. A love that made me better than I was. A love that taught me what it means to really see another person and choose them every single day, even when it's hard. She squeezed his hand. We built something that will outlast us. We built something that matters, he agreed. As the stars emerged one by one in the darkening sky, two souls who had found each other across an impossible divide sat together in the peace that only comes from a lifetime of choosing love over fear, connection over division, and hope over despair.